Hey, what's up guys? Jessica J here. I'm a full service independent escort from Brisbane, Australia. I'm the host of the Latex Files podcast and I create content on TikTok and Instagram. Today, I want to bring something to your attention as the guys, what I consider to be a little bit of classless behavior and where you guys might let yourselves down when you are engaging with escorts. So let me know in the comments if you agree with me or disagree with me. I'm open to criticism. Now, I don't really like referring to class, like saying behavior is classy or classless, but I can't think of a better way of describing the situation that I sort of found myself in and the reason for the case that I'm bringing to you today. I recently experienced a client out of the blue, unprompted, going to send me paragraphs explaining the physical attributes and services of each escort he'd ever seen in detail. And there were 3 others other than me. Now, the first message that I received was, I could see this coming in real time. It was to the effect of the certain type of way she performed the service, the certain things she did, and that she had a certain physical attribute, and I felt that he was describing it in a bit of detail and explaining how good he thought it was and how much he was looking forward to or would like the experience of doing that to her again. And I could see him typing. This was in real time and completely out of the blue. I could see him typing, about to explain and elaborate in similar paragraphs about the services and physical attributes of other ladies that he'd seen. And I quickly messaged, please stop right there. I don't want to hear about the services of other workers in detail, nor like their physical attributes. The explanation was in a way that you might describe it to like your mates at the pub. For example, like her melons were so big, I can't wait to suck on them again. Or like her kitty cat is so tight, I can't wait to her again. That was like literally the words. I was like, what? Sorry, what? Like, why do you think this is okay to say to me? So I immediately shut down the conversation and said I was very shocked to receive those messages from you and that you wanted to talk about these women to me in that sort of way. And like, I don't really understand why, but like, I really don't want to read anything like that. And he apologized and said, okay, no problem. It won't happen again. Well, fast forward, it did happen again. So again, out of the blue, unprompted, he decided to write me some almost like one of my clients saw the message, a screenshot of the message, and he said, oh, it reads like a romance novel, like he's painting some romance novel about this other escort that he'd seen. And he's seen this other escort once and how he just has never felt so cared for and so trusted, and that she felt so comfortable enough to like fall asleep in his arms and snore and all this sort of stuff. Now, I personally, again, felt like this was a massive overstep just coming out of the blue, because there's no other reason why a client would want me to know this, to know that you had such a romantic and intimate time with another worker, or that another worker's physical attributes are so good that you can't wait to experience them again, other than to put me on edge and make me feel a certain type of way, or to like second guess my body, or for me to second guess my services, or second guess the connection that I've tried to build with you. So what I'm suggesting is talking in that level of detail as a client to a service provider that you allegedly respect is not respectful, and it is classless. Although you may just see us as kind of like objects, like you should just pay us an amount of money and we should just put up with whatever you sort of say or whatever you sort of want to do to us. Actually, fact of the matter is, like, we are human beings with our own feelings. The utmost classy thing for that client to have done was to never open that sort of conversation with me unprompted at all. Like, if I want to know about another worker's physical attributes, or if I want to know about the service that they provided to you, I would have asked those type of questions. Now, even then, I want to suggest that responding in that level of detail that this client did was an attack on me. It was an attempt to make me feel a certain type of way, feel jealous or nagged or insecure. And in fact, all it did was disgust me about how thoughtless he was. Well, not even thoughtless, manipulative, because I knew that he was trying to make me feel that type of way. So what I'm going to suggest is, if you're engaging in conversation with your usual service provider or service provider that you allegedly respect about another worker, that should only be in a case where the workers maybe ask the question, or whether when you are engaged in discussion, oh, I might say, have you seen anyone else since seeing me? I'm not a jealous type of person. I'm okay with that. I don't mind if my clients go and see other workers. And I think most other sensible workers are the same. We want you to have a good time. Now that's where you might open up a conversation about that other worker because you've been prompted to do so. And so what would be a classy type of way of saying that maybe she had physical attributes that you liked? You might say, oh, well, she's a really beautiful woman. She's just a really good looking girl. I really enjoyed my time with her. You don't need to get into a detailed description of how tight she was, how big her melons were, all the like physical things that she was doing, like the backflips that she was doing for you in the bedroom. It just makes you seem like you don't understand your audience. Like, we are women at the end of the day. We find that sort of chat, like, for the most part, yeah, there are some cool girls that will enjoy it, like, good, by all means, like, go see them. But the majority of us ladies, we're just going to be like, oh, what do you think? We're like one of the boys, like, oh, that's a bit odd. So just be like vanilla, I guess, not specific in your description of that woman. Just say she was really pretty, she was really beautiful, yep, really enjoyed my time. That's all you need to say. Now, if you're talking in detail about like more of the service, if it's not the compliment that you want to give on her looks, you might say something about, you want to say something about the service, or if you're prompted to say something about the service, then you might choose to say something like, oh, it was a very kind of like enthusiastic, athletic service, something like that. And we can put like the two dots together. You don't have to go through in detail, and it would be very classless to go through in detail talking about, oh yeah, 1 minute, I had a client once talk about, oh yeah, I was like lifting her up onto the kitchen counter, and oh yeah, she finished like 4 times or whatever, like, and I'm thinking in my head, like, well, I've seen you millions of times and I've never finished with you once. So I doubt that's the case. It's just like, yeah, anyway, it's just class, and I would never say that to someone, right? But it was just classless that he needed to say in detail, and he was another one, described her body and her intimate areas and the physicality and all like the positions and ways that like she was in, like what he was able to do to her, that he just loved it so much, in a way that would have been more suited to a pub conversation with your male friends. And it could have easily been summed up in this sentence. Oh, she was a very attractive woman. It was a really athletic experience. I really enjoyed my time. I might see her again in future. That is a way of describing it that like also protects the other providers. Like, I'm sure they don't want to get talked about. Like, I don't necessarily want my clients talking to other workers about what my downstairs looks like, or like all the different things that I was doing in my service, like in detail, like these type of things. Like, that's shocking to me. It's actually really lowbrow. It's really gross, I find. Like, let me know in the comments what you think. Another thing that you might choose to say about the service is that you had a really good connection or rapport with the worker. Well, that's all you need to say. This client that I just had the recent sort of bad experience with, where he spoke at length in this like romantic novel sort of tone about the connection with this other woman and all the things that she was doing, could have easily been summed up in a 2-line message saying, oh, by the way, I had my first overnight experience recently, and oh, I thought it was really great for building a level of connection. I really enjoyed myself. That's all you need to say. You don't need to describe to me in detail. And in fact, it's classless and rude and disrespectful for you to sit there and describe in detail exactly what she was doing in that service and why all of a sudden you've never felt like that level of connection and comfort and care from another woman ever before in your life and another provider ever before in your life. Like, why would you tell me about it? If the service was that good with her, why are you talking to me at all? Like, it's nothing other than trying to put the provider that you're talking to, what it comes off is as negging, manipulative, or at best, like thoughtless for her feelings. So when I have received positive feedback about other workers from clients that I have not been offended by, and there's been plenty, this has looked like, just as I've referred to before, oh, I went and saw this worker, her style is a little bit more like this, it might be a little bit more relaxed, or it might be a little bit more athletic, or it might be a little bit more submissive. Like, there's different ways you can describe it without describing exactly what you did to her in detail or what she did to you in detail. And you might also describe another worker like, oh, she was sort of like very tall and sort of like lean or something, and so that was really different. Or she was really small, so it was just a very different experience and really beautiful. Like, there's ways that you can describe other women and the type of service that they provide without going into detail, like a sort of almost inconsiderate or even vulgar level of detail that can only be interpreted by the provider that you're talking to as disrespectful of the fact that she's also a woman and doesn't want to hear that sort of pub matey chit chat. Like, she has feelings too, and she's probably sitting there, as I was, a little bit offended about, oh, do you not think that I, like when he's talking about, oh, there's been a couple of them, oh, this girl's, chest was so big, I can't wait to like do that again. And so I'm thinking about my chest going like, oh, that's what it's like aiming at. And then the other one talking about, oh, because she's so small, her kitty cat is was so small and tight, I can't wait to do that again. So I'm sitting here thinking like, what are you trying to say? Like, I've got a wind tunnel? Well, I know I don't, because I've been told that many times that I don't. And I'm sure I wouldn't have clients if that was the case. But like, what was the aim of what you're trying to say? And the same with like the human connection comment. What are you trying to say? That like, we've not done all of that? Like, are you trying to put me on edge about that you've just had this amazing rapport with someone else? If that is the case, then why are you texting me? Cut me off if she was so good. You don't need me anymore then. So look, I'm sorry if this comes off as like overly salty. I just really want to encourage men, when you are engaging with SWs, to actually see us like regular women. Like, don't lose sight of the fact, just because we are sort of like, placating to your urges, placating to your fantasy, that doesn't mean that we're all cool girls and you get to just disrespect us and we'll see it as just a joke or like not take offense to it. We actually do take offense to things. Like, it's not nice. And you just come off like, classless. You come off like a bit of a dick. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you if you've made it this far. Again, my name's Jessica J. I'm a Googleable person. Have a click around and see what you can find. Thanks, guys.